Greetings all, this is Max. Today we're going to talk a little bit about something going on in my local area, very close to me. But first, I want to mention this. It ties into what we're doing here. Pope Francis prays towards Mecca, states Islam is a religion of peace. Europe should open all its borders to Muslims. Well, they've already done that. And it's not going so good for the Europeans over there when it comes to the Muslims over there. No, not at all. But never fear, because they're bringing peace. The Muslims are bringing peace. We'll listen to the Pope here. Islamophobia. It is true that when one sees these terrorist acts, not only in this region, but also in Africa, there is this reaction. Yeah, get the Muslims out. If this is Islam, I'm going to get angry, and so many Islamic people are offended. Oh no, we can't have the Islamic people offended. We can't have that. Many say, no, we are not this. The Quran is a book of peace. It is a prophetic book of peace. That terrorism is not Islam. Terrorism is not Islam, coming from Mr. Pope. Mr. Antichrist, Mr. New World Order, Mr. everything like that. I mean, that's the reason that perfectly healthy Somalis are coming from their country and being brought in and dispersed all through America. Right now, mainly it's Europe, but we have a pretty good Somali population here in Minnesota, where I live. And this is the result. Terror in Lake Calhoun. Now, I bet these are the Christian fundamentalists that are running around with their Bibles trying to force tracts on people and trying to save them, to bring them to heaven. I don't know. Let's see. Minneapolis police investigating a group of, Somali men for terrorizing Lake Calhoun. And here we go. Minneapolis police are investigating a series of incidents involving 20 to 30 Somali men reported making terror threats in Lake Calhoun neighborhood of Minneapolis. Minneapolis police report obtained by KSTP.com. Now, this is a television news channel, and guess what? They didn't show it on the television. They only put up a web page of it. A friend of mine walks Lake Calhoun a few times a week. She usually goes to Lake Harriet, though, and never heard anything about this story until she saw it on the internet. And this isn't a person who goes on the internet much. She just happened to run across it. But continuing on, by KSTP.com shows on June 28th, 2016, so this is very recent, a group of approximately 20 to 30 Somali males drove into the upscale Linden Hills neighborhood near Lake Calhoun in approximately 5 cars. Screenshots of the police report show that the men questioned a woman about her knowledge of Sharia law, and that it was legal for them to kidnap and rape her. It's a nation of peace. Nation of peace. Nation of peace. Listen to the Pope. In a video from KST.com below, the woman's identity and voice are disguised. She appears shaken and afraid and describes the scene. So we're talking about Linden Hills, okay? And let's all remember that, because we'll get into this here in a second. So we've got screenshots of the police report. KST reports the incidents are under investigation, but police have not arrested anyone. Oh, gee, I wonder why. Because we have to leave the Muslims alone. It's part of the agenda, the New World Order. Bring in everybody, intermingle them. The victim in KSTP.com video reported the FBI is also investigating the case. Yeah, I'm sure they're really trying hard. I mean, yeah, 5 cars roll up with a bunch of Somalis in it. That's going to be really hard to find in Lake Calhoun. Now, Lake Calhoun is pretty much the upscale area of Minneapolis, where you have a lot of, I don't know if you'd call them yuppies or what, but you have like all the little markets and the Whole Foods and everybody loves pets and PETA and all of those organizations and global warming and Greenpeace. It's the very liberal, probably like the equivalent to Austin, Texas, compared to the rest of Texas. And Minnesota is a pretty liberal state, but right in that area, that is kind of the people that are there, the tree hugger type people. Stated, continuing on here, they stated the reported incident was the second time the neighborhood had been terrorized by a group of uninvited visitors. Really? You need to just call them terrorists. Called them terrorists in the opening there. Geller describes the incident in more detail. Penske is the name given to the unidentified victim. So this goes through the whole thing where they have these guys that are driving up to women that are, out planting roses in their garden and terrorizing them. The mob terrorizing a local community is reminiscent of the mob's recently arrived refugee men terrorizing women in European countries. Huh. But the Pope says we got to bring them all in. Right? We're going to listen to the Pope. So last month, a federal jury found 3 Somali American, give me a break, Somali American Minnesota men guilty of plotting to join ISIS. The charges carry a life sentence. Alpha News requests the complete police report from Minneapolis police regarding the terror threat in Lake Calhoun. We will post an update when one becomes available. There is no update. But this is what's going on, and this is in Linden Hills, okay? Now, why are the Muslims terrorizing Linden Hills? This is Lake Calhoun here. There's a little beach, and you can walk around the lake, and this is kind of like a family area. A lot of people walk their dogs and stuff like that. Why are they going there in particular? Why aren't they going to North Minneapolis, where a person gets murdered like 2 or 3 a week? Okay? Why aren't they going to North Minneapolis? Because North Minneapolis is only about 10 miles away from Lake Calhoun. Why aren't they going into those neighborhoods? I'm just it's just asking the question. Well, funny thing, Minneapolis shootings up sharply, particularly on the north side. Huh. As of April 11th, 74, this is this year, 74 people had been shot in the city. 85% increase. So that's 20 a month. 20 people a month have been shot in North Minneapolis. Which is not really that far from where I live, but, my area is pretty decent. But, North Minneapolis there. Pretty big area. So what I did was I go to neighborhood crime statistics, and I looked up June 2016, and we'll see what we get. We have this nice little spreadsheet, and now we can see up at the top, we have the totals, and we have homicide, rape, robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, larceny, auto theft, and arson. Now, they were talking about Linden Hills. Okay, so we'll go to Linden Hills. 4 total crimes, and it was burglary and larceny. Larceny is just theft, right? So someone stole something from a shop and got charged, and 2 people tried to break into someone's shed. This is where these people are, and I believe I have a map here. Yes, this is Lake Calhoun. There's Linden Hills. These are where these roaming band of Muslims who want to terrorize women with Sharia law are operating, where there's absolutely nothing to go against them. And they show up 20 to 30 strong? That's like an army. An army. Now, this other area up here, they call it near north. Really, they're lumping this North Minneapolis area here into what they call West Minneapolis. Well, when we look up in here, here's near north. 53 total crimes, including a murder, a bunch of rapes, a bunch of other stuff, aggravated assault, a whole bunch of those in near north. I lose my spot. Yes, near north. Aggravated assaults, a whole bunch of burglaries, a couple of larcenies. And now we'll look at Minneapolis West. There we are. Downtown West. 240 crimes, including 4 murders. Why aren't they playing around in these areas here? Why are they going to the absolutely safest area where probably nobody has a gun or anything to defend themselves because they're all hippies? They don't believe anybody should have a gun, right? They're not going to these other areas, pretty much anywhere else. The only place that's lower crime is Cooper. At least, and this is only for 1 month. This is only for 1 month. The reason they're not going down here is because the second they roll up on this is primarily a black neighborhood, so as soon as they roll up on a couple of black women and try that Sharia law, they'll probably shoot them. They'll probably get shot. Right? So what Islam, the Nation of Peace, does is they roll into neighborhoods and areas that they'll have absolutely no opposition to the point, and the people won't defend themselves or stand up for themselves, and the police aren't going to do anything about it because they're told not to do anything about it. They're told to leave the Muslims alone. So what happens here is people will just move out, and then eventually more Muslims come in, and then people will move out. More Muslims come in. The same sort of thing is happening up in Columbia Heights, if I can find it. Yeah, Columbia Heights. You have this side of the street. I used to live there. You have this side of the street, which is all Catholic, elderly Catholic people, and then you have the other side of the street, which is all Muslim. And eventually, when these Catholics over here die out, the Muslims will cross the street and they'll take over all of Columbia Heights, and you'll have Sharia law effectively going on there. This is what happens. This is what happens. The Muslims will never take over North Minneapolis. Ever. No. Black people own that completely. A lot of people from Chicago and stuff like that roll up and have taken over North Minneapolis, and that's kind of their little playpen. And they shoot each other and do all that stuff, and they're not doing it in the name of any particular religion. They're kind of just thugs. Well, that's how it goes. So, what can we do about this problem here? Well, arm yourself. That's the solution to the problem, is arm yourself. Because where the Muslims do not feel afraid and where they have overwhelming force, like the Quran teaches them, that is when they go in and try and push their stuff. Now, if there's just one or two of them in your neighborhood, they're not going to do nothing. They're going to band together in their big roving groups and go to a place where people are playing with their children. They're going out for a walk, listening to the radio, enjoying the sun. No one's thinking about a group of 20 to 30 men rolling up and terrorizing them. No one. Now, my entire family owns guns. A lot of them got concealed carries and bring it everywhere. How much do you think we're going to put up with if we lived in this area? I don't. I actually live in the North Minneapolis area. Or closer to it. Right up all around in here somewhere. And I feel safe. But I'm not going to have to deal with Muslim terrorism. I'll have to deal with common thuggery. Common thuggery, which the Muslims can't really defeat the common thuggery. But they'll go down here to where it's not a white neighborhood here in Linden Hills. It's very multicultural, but everybody is very peaceful. It's a very peaceful area. You saw the statistics. There was only 2 crimes all month, or 4 crimes all month. 2 of them were random theft, and the other 2 were like a burglary. We have all this stuff here. Linden Hills. Linden Hills. Yep, 4 total crimes. That's your nation of peace. Your nation of peace rolls into peaceful areas. Peaceful areas here. And tries to take them over. And the peaceful people aren't going to fight back. They're just going to leave. And then they're going to take it over. But, Pope Francis says Islam's a religion of peace. Europe should open its borders to Muslims. It's working out great for them over there. It's working out great for us, too, in Minnesota, because we take in a huge number of refugees in Minnesota to get the federal dollars. Most states have a limit of a couple thousand people that they would let in each year, and I don't believe Minnesota does. So there's a huge number of refugees coming from Asia and Somalia and a couple of other places. We really don't have a limit on it, but yeah, this is what happens when Islam invades your country or your state. They go to places where nobody can do anything about them existing there, and they terrorize them in the name of Sharia law. Says right there, terrorize. Sharia law. So as I said, police aren't really going to protect you. Or at least they'll show up and write the report and take pictures of your decapitated body from the Islamics and then file it away. And how are they going to catch an Islamic refugee that there's absolutely no fingerprints or DNA or anything been collected from them or anything when they show up? How are they going to catch these people? Really can't. So protect yourself. Go out, get concealed carry. Definitely. So that's my story on the Nation of Peace and what's going on in my neighborhood. Sorry I haven't done videos as much over the last couple of months, but it's summertime here, and in the frozen tundra of Minnesota, I'd like to do other things. And there hasn't really been a whole lot going on as far as religious news. But I am uploading and still watching some other pastor stuff and copying it over to my channel. So, with that, I think I'm going to be out of here. Go get your concealed carry. And anytime a mosque opens up, keep your eye out. Nation of Peace. Nation of Peace. All right. We'll see you next time.